Another thing we said is, wherever there is a subtle body, it reflects the consciousness. It has a capacity to reflect. And subtle body is there from the beginning. It's like a jiva. So therefore there is no creation of subtle body as far as the beginningless anadya vidya. Therefore, we have to understand some of these concepts in the sense subtle body is always there, and it occupies a gross body to experience certain vasanas and all that. That's what we have to understand, why I am born in here and not somewhere else, and all that comes because of the karma. And when this particular karma is over, the subtle body leaves this gross body and takes another gross body somewhere else. It needs to have gross body to experience. Even in the dream, I create a gross body in the dream for the dream experiences. Follow? All that is involved. Now, this has to be understood. All-pervading consciousness need not have to realize. Because it's all-pervading eternally. So Brahman is Brahman. Gold doesn't have to realize I am gold. That's why I said dance. So gold doesn't have to recognize that I am gold. It is gold all the time. Ring has to recognize I am gold. Follow where the problem is. So all-pervading consciousness, it doesn't have to need not have to realize. The mind is inert by itself, cannot realize. Because mind is inert. Realization is only by a conscious entity. Now who realizes what? The whole thing is drama actually. But if you tell the whole thing is drama, you may not come for the camp. So I have to tell them the whole thing is something. So wherever there is a subtle body, there is a reflection of the subtle body, and I called it Chidabhasa. Why Chidabhasa? Because mind has the capacity to reflect the all-pervading consciousness. That's a capacity of the mind. So wherever there is a mind, there is always this consciousness getting reflected, and the mind may be in the dormant state or in the primary state where, like as in animals and so on, there is a mind, but at the same time it's not expressive. Equipments are not there enough to express it also. So, total consciousness, when we come to the jiva, when we say jiva, it is reflected consciousness only. So as long as the reflecting medium is there, there will be reflected consciousness. So long as the medium is there, that long the reflecting consciousness will also be there. Okay? Now we are talking about vidya, knowledge. I just gave you how the knowledge occurs. So every knowledge involves objects that we are talking about, the so-called objective sciences, bringing the information through the five senses as the vritti knowledge, either direct perception or anumana logical, that is all science and everything else comes under that, to a thought process. Okay, so objects outside has transformed as a transformation process into thoughts in the mind. Thoughts raise in the mind. Thoughts also inert, just like mind. So therefore, for me to know the thoughts, I had to brighten it. So light of consciousness has to brighten the thoughts also for me to conscious of the thoughts. How does it occur? The consciousness all-pervading doesn't do directly. It goes through the mind, and the mind is reflecting that consciousness, and the reflected light of consciousness falls on the thought and then reflecting back to the mind itself. So when there is a chair out there, I say there is a chair out there. I know chair is. Right? And that chair is only because I have the thought of the chair in my mind. If my mind is absent, you may have 100 chairs. No chair will be there. So mind has to be essentially through the process of this perception, the thought has to arise. Is all clear now? Now one more point that we need to understand also is, I don't really see the chair because I said it's only the reflected light. So my senses that I have, sense of sight, picks up only colors and form. And it's not really the form, it is a reflected form of the chair. And what I see colors, if you know this series of colors, is only if you know the Vibjaya or whatever, all the 7 colors are there, only that which get absorbed and only reflected colors only I see. I don't know. If you say, if it's a red light, I'm seeing red color only because all other colors are absorbed. That's why I'm seeing only red light. So chair is the red, this is the blue, and all that is only how the reflecting light is coming to me. This is all part of the color vision. Even the stereographic projection, because I have 2 eyes. The angle between it projects from 2 different angles. That's why they give you when you go to 3D movies, they give you glasses. The polarized glasses says each polarized see only one aspect of it, because it's the other aspect it doesn't see. So each other one sees the only one, and you together are matched in the mind for you to see the 3-dimensional view. Called stereographic projections. Because I have 2 eyes. Lord has blessed me with 2 ears to see stereo music also. All that possible. Now, let me go into a little bit carefully. When there is an object out there, thought is forming and thought is getting reflected. How does the thought form? Thought forms only based on the properties of the object. Because only the senses can only pick up the properties. How big, how tall, all those, the dimensions, all those are forms, colors, and all that are properties of the object. It's not the chair, it's the properties of the object are picked up through the senses, by the senses, and form a vritti, a thought in my mind. I say this is big chair, that's a small chair, this is a blue chair, that's a red chair. All these properties of the chair is based on what capacity my senses are able to gather the attributes of the object. If my senses are defect, if I have color blind, the chair will have different colors, but I won't see, right? So all we know this is all taken for granted, but we understand this. Now one more point. Do I really see a chair? What I am seeing is only attributes of the chair, not the substantive of the chair. Substantive is because of which the chair is. Substance, noun. Senses can only pick up the attributes of the object, but not the substantive of the object. This is very become important. I am seeing the world outside. Every world I am not really seeing anything. I am only seeing the attributes of all the worldly object, and say there is a real chair out there. Because I see what I am seeing, not the chair, but only attributes as measured by the capacity of my senses. Remember, all these things are involved. One more point. I don't really see real attributes. I only see reflected attributes. Real attributes belong to the chair. Attributes and what is called attributes called Visheshanas, and Visheshya, the locus for the attributes, they are inseparable. Because it belongs to the chair. So how am I gathering? I am taking out those attributes to my mind. It's not attributes, but only reflected attributes of that real attributes I am only picking up. Now you see where the world is. We are all looking at only reflected attributes of the object and say there is a world, there is a chair out there. How do you know there is a chair out there? Sir, there is a chair out there because I can go and sit down there. If there is no chair, I will be falling down. Right? That means I had to establish not only perceptually the chair out there, but transactionally the chair out there. That's called Vyavaharika Satyam. Vyavaharika means it is transactionally real because I can transact and I take the chair and I can hit you. If you say there is no chair, then you know that there is a chair. Therefore, it is transactionally real. Not only attributive knowledge, but even transactional real. This all therefore, perceptual knowledge has to be confirmed by the transactions through the what? Through the karmendriyas. For me to say, chair is there. That's one aspect. But in all these things, the mind has to make an inference of what I see is what is there, even through transactions. But I can never see the substance of the chair. You may say whatever. I can analyze the substance. What do I say? Oh, it is made up of stainless steel or this one. It's not a gold chair, it is a stainless steel. Now I ask, what is stainless steel? The same problem goes. Then you can keep reminding and putting, and it is nothing but electrons, photons, and neutrons. But electron, protons is gold also electron, protons, neutrons, chair also electron, iron also electron, protons. What's the difference? It's only how they're packed, right? How they are packed. But what are electron, protons? Oh, I can keep dividing, there's a God particle. Somebody said there's a decently God particle. All that implies is, in every knowledge that is going on, there is one conscious entity involved to say it is this. No, it's not that, it is this. So conscious entity has to be there to observe this. Now, Vedanta says, but I made a statement. The existence of the object is established by the knowledge of its existence. So how? How do you make that statement? Because all-pervading consciousness expresses itself when there is a mind as a reflected consciousness, as Chidabhasa. But in the case of where there is no mind, but only the gross matter, it expresses as pure existence itself. Because the subtle body is not there to reflect the consciousness part, but only, I'm using a part, but it's not really part, but it's reflecting conscious, but it's only expresses as only pure existence. So, chair is, when you say is, the isness of the chair is the existence part. If chair is not there, then I cannot see also. Right? If there is no chair, I cannot see. So when they say chair is, that because I can see, but what I see is the existence expressed in the form of a chair, and express that existence in the form is reflected back as a thought in my mind. Now I'll connect the whole thing now. The whole world is nothing but objects. And whole world and every object is, starting from Akasha, starting from space is. So if he is not there, I cannot say is. If there is no existence, I cannot say it exists, right? So everything has to exist. So existence itself, that is Sat and Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Therefore, that is infinite to existence itself is consciousness, and consciousness expresses itself depending upon the equipments. It's an equipment problem. Some equipments can express the conscious part also, but other equipments only the existent part only it can express. So in all inert things that you see, all pervading consciousness is expressing only as existence itself. But since they are not, consciousness is not expressed, they are not self-conscious. They're not even conscious. Chair doesn't know that I am a chair. And chair doesn't know that somebody is sitting on me. If he knows that, he won't allow you to sit on me. Right? So, therefore, it will be selective who sits on it. But the fact that the chair is inert, not able to be conscious of it, because consciousness, there is no subtle body to express the consciousness part, only expresses as the existent part. Is that clear now? In all the gross. But wherever there is a subtle body, consciousness expresses there as a chidabhasa, and further along the body as the life principle itself. So wherever there is a life, we don't know what life is. Well, doctors cannot tell you what life is. All it can say is life manifests, oh, you are breathing, therefore he is alive. But what exactly life are? He doesn't know. Life is only expression of that consciousness itself. Now let's look at the whole scenario, because somebody says, at this rate, I'm not going to finish anywhere in the chapter. That's what a friend of mine is just now telling me, that you are not even opened the textbook other than the mantra repeated about the first mantra. But the whole Vedanta, this text is only about this. So I want to make sure that once you understand, we can easily go through. Because if we don't understand, then whole text we can cover, but nothing will happen. Because this is, to me, this is an absolute science. You can see that where the science becomes is. So when the consciousness is expressing outside as the pure existence, and it cannot know itself because there is no consciousness part, therefore the world cannot be established independent of the consciousness entity. World cannot say, I am there. It is there, but no more water there. Therefore, we need to understand, existence expressed as an object here, every object exists. Non-existent object I cannot perceive. So whatever I perceive has to exist. Number one. Now, how do I perceive? I told you, because the attributes of the object forms a thought in the mind. And thought in the mind has to be enlivened by the consciousness for me to be conscious of the thought in the mind, which is thought in the mind is nothing but the object out there. All are relations. Is it clear? If this is understanding, because this is it's a simple at the same time, whole process goes on. We take it for granted, but this is what exactly what happens. Now I'll make a statement. Existence of the object transferred as though existence of the thought joins with the consciousness of the subject for me to be conscious of the existence of the thought. Hello? I'll repeat again. We have the object outside. The existence of the object transferred as though existence of a thought in my mind, right? Through the perceptual process and all that. And I, the subject, which is consciousness reflected through the Chidabhasa, become conscious of, joining with as though with the existence of the thought, for me to be conscious of the existence of the thought, therefore existence of the world. So this is called perceptuality condition. The consciousness of the subject and the existence of the object has to join together for me to be conscious of the existence of the object. Clear? Without that, there won't be any knowledge. We are talking about the knowledge now. You are talking about only objective knowledge, sir. Don't forget, subject has to be there in every knowledge. The existence of the subject, that is, that conscious entity has to join with the existence of the object for me to be conscious of the existence of the object itself. And consciousness existence is nothing but Brahman only. I am existent consciousness. Therefore, Shankara says, Atmaityeyo upasita. Say that whatever you see is nothing but consciousness, is Atma Tattvameva. How can that be? This is how it is, because every object that I perceived is nothing but the thought in my mind, but the thought in my mind is thought in my consciousness. Therefore, I am conscious of the thought. It is therefore I am conscious of the whole world. It is in my consciousness only. Otherwise, I cannot be conscious of the thought, conscious of the world. Therefore, world cannot exist otherwise, or world's existence cannot be established independently. Follow that? Word, every word is precise. Oh, when I am asleep and the mind is not there, world is there. Who says that? Well, other people can say, but other people, conscious entity, they are observing. For you, where folded, there is no reflection of consciousness, therefore for you no world. Oh, they can make a TV and then show me in the morning that it was there when I was sleeping. For that, I had to be conscious of to see the TV also, to see that what they say is there. Without consciousness, existence of anything cannot be established. Not that it's not there. It's clear? Few more points has to be understood now. Remember, this is example I give everywhere. The light is everywhere here, right? And you are seeing me because I am existing, number one. But that doesn't mean that you are able to see me. If it is pitch dark, and if I don't make any noise at all, because sound is also not coming, then you won't know I am there or not. Because no light getting reflected, no sound is coming, no sensory input for you to recognize the presence of my presence. Therefore, you won't know whether I am there or not. Not that you cannot prove that I am there, nor you can prove that I am not there. Right? Therefore, my existence is indeterminate. Anirvachaniyam. The Sanskrit word in the Shankara uses anirvachaniyam. It is indiscriminate whether it's there or not even. It becomes a vachaniyam only, nirvachaniyam only because when there is a consciousness blooms it, then I can gather the information. I can establish it is there, otherwise I cannot establish. Okay, this is, each step is very logical also. Now, most important point now that I'm going to tell, which is very important, is just because you are seeing me, the light is required. Now, more startling statement is, to see the light, I am required. How is that? That is more important. Why? Because you are seeing my hand, right? You are seeing my hand because the light is there. Light is falling on the hand. Therefore, you are seeing my hand. So, to see my hand, light is required. But when I remove my hand, even though light is there, you cannot see the light. Why? Because there is no reflecting medium to reflect the presence of the light. Not that I am bringing the light with my hand. No, it's not a luminous entity. The hand is illumined, it is not a shining entity. Even when I remove the hand, even though the light is there in the space where the hand is, you are not able to recognize the presence of that hand, because the presence of the light, because there is no hand to reflect it. Is clear? Now you understand what is involved in self-realization. Who realizes what? And who is that I had to realize? All that becomes clear now, because all-pervading consciousness doesn't have to realize. It is the mind that is reflecting the consciousness as Chidabhasa. Wherever the mind is there, it will reflect. That's the property of the mind. And in that reflection, I see the world also now, further reflection somehow. But when I say I am this, who is saying that? Consciousness doesn't say. Consciousness, it doesn't have anything at all. It's pure consciousness. It is sajati vijati swagata bedarahitam. Say no differences of any kind there to say even. Yato yat navak gacchati namaha. Yato vacho nivartanti aprapya manasaha. Mind cannot go there. The words cannot go there because it's pure consciousness of no differences of any kind. It cannot say anything. It doesn't have equipment to say anything. So when I say I am, I have to realize. Who has to realize? That has to be clear. I, pure consciousness, when getting reflected by the mind, I become conscious entity. This reflected consciousness, this Chidabhasa, become active, dynamic. And Chidabhasa doesn't say, and my reflection is coming from the consciousness. It doesn't say that. It says, I am naturally conscious entity. And who am I? I am this mind. And I am this body, I am this intellect. This is the confusion that is arising because of the reflecting medium in the mind. It is coming. Because not knowing who I am, pure consciousness is getting reflected all through. You follow now? This has to be clear. Pure consciousness getting reflected by the mind is Chidabhasa, and Chidabhasa gets a notion that I am this mind and I am this intellect, I am this body, by identifying with each one of the equipments that where it is enlivening. And who needs realization? This Chidabhasa has to realize that I am not this and I am that. Now, here is a problem that we are going to face here. It is always Chidabhasa, that means reflected consciousness, and reflected consciousness involves a reflecting medium also. So just as when you are looking, when I am putting the hand out there, you are looking only reflected light from my hand. That's what you are seeing, not the hand. It's only reflected light from the hand, because you don't see behind the backside of the hand, because no light is coming from this backside to you, right? But looking at this, there are two mixture here, hand and the light. Without the hand, you cannot see the light. That's what I also said. So you need the hand. At the same time, I had to drop the hand and look at the light, because that's what I am seeing. I am not seeing the hand. You follow now what exactly meditation now? Meditation is neti neti. What you say? Not this, not this. It is not the hand. It's because of which the hand is visible. So, yat chakshusha na pasyati, ena chakshum se pasyati. That which eyes cannot see, but I need, because of which eyes can see. I need the hand, but it's not the hand. I am seeing the light because of the hand. So my meditation is shifting from the reflecting medium to that which is getting reflected. You follow? But I need the hand though. Don't know why you are going to remove the hand. No, then you cannot see. So it's always the hand and the light mixture always. But I had to use a subtle intellect, that's called viveka, where I drop the hand and only pick up only that part that is important for me, to discriminate. That's what is nitya anitya vastu viveka. Without that viveka, I will have a problem. You follow? I see only hand, I see the chair, I see the world, I see all. I am getting carried away with what I see, but what I see all the time, only light getting reflected all the time. If this is understood, same thing happens in the mind. The light of consciousness is reflected by the mind as Chidabhasa. That which is reflected to the thought and back to the mind. There is a subject thought and object thought. Both are in the mind. This is a chair. How do you know? I know. I am a knower and this is a known chair. Both are in the mind. One is the reflecting vritti, another is reflected thought, this is a Chidabhasa. So one is a knower, another is known. Both are in the mind only, the subject-object thoughts. So the Ramana Maharshi says called idam vritti and aham vritti. Both are in the mind as a thoughts. So how do I realize the whole thing? Who is that ego? What is the ego? Ahankara. What is that ego? Ego is nothing but I am plus this. Yeah, that's why you biography, right? Biodata. What do you say? I am this, all biodata. You're talking about pages and pages. Some people have books also about who they are. One more to dance. Thank you. It's okay. Wow. He recognized that I need warm water. My voice automatically goes up. So here is a problem. Ego, ahankara, involves two things. As I said, mixture. One is pure consciousness. Another is this. I am this. That is the ego. And this, because as an object, this keeps changing depending upon what you considered as you. Say, I am this, all that, everything. I am a millionaire, I am pauper, I am beggar, I am Chinmaya Mission member. You can call whatever. I am this, everything that you can include. In that, this only. That's a property of the this. Nothing to do with I am. I am is consciousness existent that I am. But this mixture, this is required to recognize I am. Remember, hand is required to recognize the presence of the light. Without the hand, I cannot recognize the light. So, I need the ego, but at the same time, I have to reject that part which is anityam in that and pick up only the nityam part. Now where the subtle big problem becomes is, I am so identified with this, it is difficult for me to separate. Follow, the whole Vedanta is now in this. Because you say, I am, this is the ego, ahankara, and this is my problem. I am even in Chinmaya Mission, I am a realized soul. Who says? This only. Qualification. Anything I add to I am is essentially this only. No realized soul will say I am realized soul also. Why he says what is this? I am realized soul is another. I am a sannyasi, I am a grihastha. All those identifications again. This part, but I am not this. But I need this to identify myself or even to transact myself. So, where the problem is in every transactions, including realization, consciousness plus ahankara is always there. But a realization is to pick up that which is permanent and leave that which is as mithya. Not asatyam also, it is mithya means it is temporarily there for experience. A hand is required for me to see the light there. Therefore, ego is also required for me to recognize I am conscious entity also. It's not ego dissolution. It's not a mind dissolution. All misconceptions here. Without the mind I go to sleep. So in every perception, pratibodha viditam madam, in the Upanishad says, it is revealed in everything because every knowledge involves I am plus this. This keeps changing. But this is required to recognize I am. You follow? This is the essence of whole Vedanta here going to be. So how am I going to recognize that everything is nothing but Atma. That's what he is saying right now. Atma ityeva upasita. And everything is Atma Tattvam only. Is how? Because the whole world is nothing but pure existence that was there before creation. This is where Vedanta comes as a science. And it became many. That's what Chandogya Upanishad starts. Says, Sadeva Saumya Damagramasid Ekameva Dvitiyam Tadaichata Bausyam Tadaeti. It itself became many. What became many? Not somebody became many. Some Brahman became many. No. Brahman means infiniteness. That existent consciousness that I am, which was there purely as existent consciousness, because Tadaichada means it is a conscious entity which is existent entity. It itself became many, both subject and object both. You follow now? Just as when I'm going to deep in the dream, when I'm sitting in a comfortable bed, in an AC bed, when I dream myself the whole world of dream world, and as though I enter into the dream world as a subject in my own dream, and looking at the whole world of chara chara, savaram jangamam, that means movable and immovable, all beings and the non-beings, the world of inert things are created in my own dream. And I myself take myself as entered as though into one jiva, as an individual there, and looking at the world of plurality and says, this is the world that is created and this tiger is chasing me and I have to save myself. All that problems is because not knowing this is all my own projection. I am there in the tiger, I am there who wants to swallow me also in this form. Both are there. Forest is also me, the ground that is running is also me. Everything is me, but how can that be me? I cannot understand. That need to be understood. That's why Vedanta is a science, involves both the pratyak and parak, that is inner as well as outside. Both are involved in the total science because it takes you into both the subject aspect involved in every knowledge. Okay? Is all clear now in terms of the whole philosophical position. Now, what I realize also has to be understood, because Yajnavalkya is going to tell about that, is I recognize that I am using the equipment as conditioned consciousness, as upahita chaitanyam. Upahita chaitanyam means upadhi sahita chaitanyam. I am pure consciousness, as though, quote unquote, enclosed in this upadhi, in this instrument, getting reflected as a reflected medium. Reflection depends on the type of medium. Nothing to do with pure consciousness is always pure. But reflecting medium, some mediums can be polished, some people reflection, some is not polished, dirty. So depending upon the quality of the reflecting medium, the consciousness gets reflected, and it tries to identify itself, I am only the mind and God. A simple example in the Naishkarmya Siddhi Sureshwara gives is, so in a full moon night, in full moon, and you are looking at an object in the full moon night. Looking at the object in the full moon night and recognize what you are seeing is the sunlight. How? Because it is all pervading sunlight getting reflected by the moon, and that moonlight, reflected light from the moon, is falling on the objects, and that object is reflecting back to you. Therefore, what you are seeing is the sunlight going through this process, isn't it? You are not seeing the object, you are seeing sunlight only. Now apply the same process. Moon and mind are related. They're all, lunatics. Therefore, the all-pervading consciousness reflected by the mind, which is just as reflected by the moon, falling on the objects outside and reflecting back. It is just the sunlight. It is just the light of consciousness that you are conscious of. You follow? But you need the moon to see the full moon thing's object. So, self-realization is nothing but recognizing that I am while using this mind, because these two are always together. Without the hand, I cannot see the light. Without the mind, I cannot recognize the consciousness also. I need the mind to say that I am not the mind. Without the mind, I go to sleep. Clear? And even when there are thoughts in the mind, I am only getting reflected in a roundabout, that's all. Mind reflects and the reflected light falls on the thoughts and get reflecting back. So all that is involved in this knowledge of everything. So knowledge involves two things we said. One is the subject and the object. And all the sciences are looking at only the objective sciences. But Vedanta looks at the total system. For that you cannot use objective world or tools. You only use objective tools for objective analysis of chemistry. This phylum is different from that phylum, and all that you can classify the objects. But that's not the truth. The truth is subject-object has to be together in every knowledge. And only way is consciousness has to come, and only way consciousness comes is only through this process. Existent and consciousness are getting separated and united here in every knowledge of. Because you are conscious of the existence of the whole world also. So essentially, now we are going to see this, what Shankara says. We are analyzing only the first statement of his statement, and then you can see now all that is said in this. What I said is packed in this, in the Shankara Bhashya. See, Atma ityeva upasita. So Atma ityeva upasita. Even if you understand it, so okay, understand and recognize the presence of it, at least start this as, this is what I am seeing all the time. So as the upasana also start doing it, ultimately you recognize this. But we'll see later after the teaching, it's not only upasana, it is the jnanam also, and becomes an nididhyasanam. Okay? So, tadeva etasmin sarvasmin padaniyam atma tattvam. So, atma tattvam, the existence of nature, my nature itself is getting reflected in padaniyam, is only in the form of names and forms of all the objects that I see. So, pure existence expressing in the form of a chair, pure existence expressing in the form of table. I cannot see pure existence. So, you see, this is there, right? Is it there or not? It is. So existence is there, but is it existence a property of this for me to see? Senses can only pick up some properties of names and shabda, sparsa, rupa, rasa, gandha. It comes under none of those. Existence is not a particular property of this object, because existence is there and existence is outside the space also. Space is. So it is existence of the property of this and a property of this and property of everything that you see, because everything has to be there for you to see. So existence itself is not any particular property, it is the essence of which the whole thing came. We say existence is a property, that's our problem. Just as we say it is golden ring. Gold is a substantive, has become a property of the ring, right? Compared to iron ring and golden ring, gold has become adjective. But actually it should be noun. It should be ringly gold, bangly gold. It is gold only. It's only the other things only nama rupa. Nama rupa is name for particular form of the pure gold. Asti bhati priyam rupam namam chaityan cha panchakam. So this is asti bhati priyam rupam namam. These are 5 things in every object. Asti exists. Bhati, it is getting illumined. Priyam, it says likes and dislikes as a property that comes as you go into this text now. And Namam, Rupam. The first three are properties of the Brahman, and the other two properties of what is property of the Jagat is nothing but name and a form. Called Vacharambanam Vikaro Namadheyam in the Mandukya Upanishad. Sadvidya, Chandogya Upanishad. What is there is nothing but name and a form. Form includes all attributes. So what is their world that I has to see, as being implied in the statement here, pure consciousness existence that I am expressing in different forms, attributes, for which I give different name. It is she, it is this, it is that, it is carpet, it is cow. All those names that I am giving is for pure existence expressing in different names and forms. Ring is different than bangle, right? Properties of the ring are different from properties of the bangle. Utility of the ring is different from utility of the bangle. But what is there is gold. But if I get carried away, but ring is required where ring has to be used as a ring. And bangle is to be required for where bangle it has to be used as a bangle. There is no confusion in terms of the utility or transactability or nameability of all those things, yet I should have understanding this is all gold. Oh, I want to see pure gold. You cannot see pure gold. It is AU, it's atom, you cannot see. It has to form in lump form at least for you to see. The eyes cannot see pure gold as it is also. What I can see is only expressed in some kind of forms. So this has to be understood. Where the Brahman is, you can never see Brahman. I cannot realize without forms and names. I had to use in and through the names and forms that which pervades the whole thing. Okay? So all that Vedantic knowledge becomes important if I understand what exactly says. Tadeva etasmin sarvasmin padaniyam atmatattvam. That's all I am analyzing. Only the second line of what Shankara is telling here. Says Tadeva etasmin sarvasmin. Everything that I see here is nothing but padaniyam. It's only the words. Pada is word. Padartham is the substance. There is no padartham for everything. It's only Brahman. Only Brahman itself became many. And you can't see Brahman. And whatever I see is only objects. So I had to use the object to see Brahman now. Just as I had to use ego to see I am pure consciousness and not this. Without ego, without the Chidabhasa, there is no way I can separate these two. Because if I separate it, there is no reflection. If I separate my hand, you cannot see the light there. So these two are together all the time. So every realization involves this problem. I need the Viveka to discriminate these two because they are always together too, where I had to see that which is subtle and that which is gross, which is only mithya, it is only namarupa. So here the statement is etasmin, tadeva etasmin sarvasmin padaniyam atmatattvam yasmat preyaha putradehe. This comes and says, therefore I love this more than anything else in the world. And you will see why, because Yajnavalkya is going to tell that all that also. Ityupanyastasya vakyasya vakhyana vishaye sambandha prayojane abhihite tadatmanam eva aham brahmasmi aved aham brahmasmi iti tasmat tat sarvam abhavat iti. So here in the previous chapters, this knowledge has been given. It says aham brahmasmi. So one Brahma is to be created. So the Brahman is the Hiranyagarbha, and says he doesn't know what is happening. Then he recognizes that I am that Brahman. So exactly that comes in the previous chapters that you will see. So aham brahmasmi is the Mahavakya comes from this Upanishad. It is coming from the previous chapter that Shankara is condensing here. Tasmats tat sarvam abhavatu. And from that the whole universe came. So Brahman himself became many. And that's what is the creation is involved. Therefore, Brahman is expressed in all the names and forms. Therefore, this Etasmin sarvasmin padaniyam. All these objects that I see is nothing but Atma Tattvam only. Is nothing but consciousness that I am, the existence that I am. So existence in the form of a world, consciousness as a form of subject, or joining together in every knowledge. That's how Vidya takes place. We are talking about all that is Vidya here. Whether it's an objective word, objective sciences or subjective. So the Vedanta is now talking about the highest totality of the whole thing itself, including. But you cannot use the objective tools because now subject is also coming into picture. You cannot separate the consciousness in every knowledge because you have to be conscious of for you to know. So, ichetatu upanyastam. This has been discussed in this up to this chapters. So what we have done is only introduction to previous chapters. Okay. I'm going to now go a little bit express way now, otherwise I won't finish the text. It says, this is the Vidya part, but there is Avidya is coming, and where is the Avidya? We know it. We know what is the Avidya because we are familiar with it. So therefore it's easier for us to know what is Avidya than Vidya. So in the we are looking at now at the Shankara Bhashya, where I stopped. Now you can repeat after me. Avidyayascha Vishayaha Anyosa Vanyoham Asmiti Nasaveda Iti Arabhya Chaturvanya Pravibhaga Adinim Itta Prangta Karma Sadhya Sadhana Lakshanaha Itta Prangta Karma Sadhya Sadhana Lakshanaha Samsaraha Trayamba Idam Nama Rupam. Okay. Trayamba idam nama rupam karma ityupasamhrutaha shastriya utkarsha lakshano brahma lokantam adhobhavascha sthavarato asastriyaha purvameva pradarsitaha Dvayaha ityadina. So here up to this we'll stop. Here we are going to talk about what is avidya. What is avidya means not vidya. This is not correct knowledge. Avidya is not correct knowledge. So avidya, about avidya. So vidya we have talked about. What is involved in vidya? Knowledge. So, what is avidya? This is how it is expressed as a quotation, essentially, again from the previous chapters. So, anyosa vanyoham asmiti na saveda. Those who think that they know that I am this and he is that he can be starting from Ishvara. So I am only this kind, and this is the Lord of the whole universe. This is a creation. Creation is the Lord, and therefore I have to do puja. I have to do this. I have to do that. All the prayers in the morning, and even all that you do with the understanding that I am only this and I am not that, and he is different from me. This is all avidya. This is not my statement. This is a statement coming from the scriptures. Says na sa veda. He does not know. Na veda. Veda means he does not know. What does he not know? Whoever thinks that Lord is different from him, to start with, and therefore he does puja and all those things, because he is doing puja to something other than him, he does not know the truth. I mean that he says not to do it. Until you do it and come to Chinmaya Mission and start going through all the Upanishads and statement and come to the Memorial Day camp for the Brihadaranyaka, until then you need to do that for purification of the mind. But once your purification of the mind is there, says that is not the Lord. Upanishad itself will tell you. Yan manasa namanute enahur manomatam tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate. Nedam yadidam upasate means not this that you worship is the Lord. Now you grow up. You go up to a higher now. Until then that is useful for you to recognize, come to this. But now you give up that also because you are everything. This who is to pray whom is going to ask the question in the end, in the Yajnavalkya. Who sees what where? That's in the 14th mantra when we come to that. But now, what is avidya? All this comes under avidya only, ignorance only. So whenever a scientist says only this is all the real world and other thing is only subjective and your philosophies and I don't believe in that, all those statements all are part of avidya only. He believes that he is a conscious entity, but he doesn't know what consciousness is. So therefore we have to be careful here. It says therefore, here scripture is ruthlessly says in that way, says asmiti, aham asmiti, I am this, is nasaveda, iti arabhya, starting with that I am different from this, I am different from this, I am different. So whenever I make any time I am different from this, then problem starts. Ditiyadva bhayam bhavati. The Upanishad says, Yadara mantaram kodati atatasya bhayam bhavati. Any speck of difference causes a problem. That's why everybody is happy when they go to deep sleep state. No problems, no wife, no husband. Wife, no husband also. No husband, no children, no college fees, no other things, nothing of that. When I go to deep sleep state, I am only that. No duality whatsoever, and I am happy. Whether it is a king or a pauper. There is a song also by yeah. So this is nidra okkati. It's essentially sleep is the same, whether it is a pauper or a king or so in that there is no duality. There is no pauper or king also there. So that is essentially the understanding should be. So once I identify I am this, then identify I am what? Oh, I am this includes this properties. Here he is talking about, says Pangta Karma Chaturvanya. I belong to this Varnam, this Gotram, this family, and this caste. Instead of you can apply, I am an engineer, I am a doctor, I am this son, I am old, all other properties you can apply also. Here he is talking about Vedantic properties related to the Varnashrama Dharma and all that. He says, therefore, I perform an action, I have to go to office, and if I don't go to office, I will take care of my children, will take care of this, all good, a problem starts. Why? I am different from this. Should I not go to office from tomorrow on because I attended this camp? Ring can be ring and a bangle, still necklace and all that. But also I have to understand that I am gold. Veil remaining in the ring. Veil being used as a ring. You follow now? This knowledge should be there as I am transacting in the world, then only the world becomes a mithya, it's not asatya. Mithya means sadasat vilakshanam, that it is there, but for transaction, it's for fun, it is there. Play the game of life. The life becomes a beautiful game provided I understand this. Then I don't take things seriously. So ignorant fellow doesn't take life seriously. Intelligent fellow takes life very seriously. A wise man seriously doesn't take life seriously. So what you have to do is play the game beautifully. Whatever you do the best. So yajna kaushala, the yoga karmasya kaushalam, dexterity in the action follows beautifully. That's why every Mahatma, wherever they do, beautiful actions come out. Fantastic actions. At the same time, they are not involved. So one of my stories is when I was so involved with Gurudev, wherever he is going and all that, all the letters that he was writing, he reads a letter, immediately responds and tears off. Because bundles of, we carry all that bundle everywhere we go on. But immediately tears off. Nothing left behind. Immediately responds. Every letter he responds. At the same time, every letter he tears off also. No attachment of anything. It is more learning outside the class than inside the class sometimes. So that's the beauty of where involved at the same time, not involved also has to be there. So here, once you identify I am with a particular one, here the description of the of Shankara I'm going to give, because once I identify Chaturvarnyam, I am Brahmana, I am Kshatriya and all that, once I identify, then I am a Gruhastha, I am a Brahmachari, I am a married. So Gruhastha dharmas are there, everyone has particular Varnashrama dharmas are there, then all those karmas are there, and with all of the karmas, the phalas are there, and the phalas are there depending upon, oh, I have to go to Vaikuntha, I have to go to, if I do this homam, I go to this Brahmaloka, and this, all those things are also prescribed in the Vedas only. Those who have desires to go, they are involved in that only, because it's already said they are all avidya only. So they go from one loka to other loka. Here he is going to tell you Brahmalokantam, going up all the way, Satyalokam all the way. Also Adhobhavascha, Patala, Atala, there are lokas downstairs also. All this you will be traveling up and down, up and down, up and down, for those who think I am different from the world. You follow the whole avidya means everything is avidya, including any loka that you go is part of avidya, is only specified here. So if you look at this, avidyayasta vishayaha, so all that anyona, wherever that say I am different from this, any difference of any kind, once you start in and recognize that that is real, then you have problems become real. You can play the game of life knowing very well it is a game, like a drama. You take a role of a king, and in that scene you have to punish left and right. Your own friend may be there, but you punish left and right because you are playing a drama there. But outside the drama, don't think that you are a king and start ordering people. So when playing a role, you have to play the role. Roles will have a problem, but you should not have a problem. You are an actor. You may be beggar in that role and getting millions of dollars for that also, with the background music and everything also. So as a beggar, you have to play as the role of a beggar. Oh, you cried very well. We all appreciate, everybody will appreciate how you cried in the beggar role. Same way, I never forget I am an actor, millionaire playing the role of a beggar there. That is a real action, right? Same way I am playing the role of a mother, role of a father, role of an employee, role of a friend, role of the night, there's a horrible neighbor there. All that I had to play. Playing is not a problem. But taking the roles as my problem is a problem. Okay? So this has to be, Vedanta has to be understood clearly here. So this is Bhava Advaitam, not Karma Advaitam, the Kriya Advaitam. So Venkataraja says, Bhavam has to be there, that constant, that's why Krishna, the start statement says, Atma iti eva upasita. Please have that upasana in the bhavana in your mind all the time. Whole thing is me only. So in the Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita also says, Yomam pasyati sarvatra, sarvancha mai pasyati, tasyaham na pranasyami, sasame na pranasyati, who sees me everywhere in every form. But when I see Lord in everywhere in every form, that is real bhakti. Lord is only in the temple, is only temple bhakti. But if when I see the Lord in every form and everything, then I cannot but be reverential to the Lord present in everything and every form. I may do gali for the outside, the ring has to be the ring, and the necklace has to be used the necklace. But I know the value of the gold inside. It is nothing but gold. So it's nothing but the Lord Himself in that form and name I can play the games. Child is still a child. Child need to be punished so that child has to grow. But it is the Lord in the form of a child, Lord in the form of a parent also. If I have understanding, Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva. So you are the mother, you are the father. But also, this is actually by Gandhari. But says, I see you in the father, I see you in the mother, I see you in the friend, then that becomes a knowledge. Not only a upasana, it becomes the knowledge, because he is there everywhere. He himself became many. Okay? That understanding has to be clear. So now you know about what is avidya also. So how to get out of avidya to become avidya? He is going to tell us, do sannyasa. Sannyasa to what? Of wrong notions first. But Shankara, here I have got to give honestly about his, Shankara prescribes sannyasa for jnanam also. You know, say, because this is a chapter where Yajnavalkya leaving outside, leaving his wife and his two wives. He has two wives. It's a double problem. So he is leaving his two wives and going out for higher. That's what he said. Now, Shankara extracts from that, remember, I am using correct word. Shankara extracts from that, therefore, sannyasa is required for jnana nishtha. Because Yajnavalkya is already jnani. Because he is teaching. For abiding in the knowledge, you have to have sannyasa, becomes a means. But Krishna, you know, he has so many wives, right? Krishna is what? How many? 16,000. So he he must be really God to have so many wives and make them happy also. Krishna makes it as a gauna sannyasa. In the 6th chapter, if you read, he says gauna sannyasa means you first renounce in your mind first. What is sankalpa? So you have to remove sankalpa, saha sannyasi, na niragnihi, and so on. If you read the chapters, you will know. So therefore, here Shankara is going to tell us that this sannyasa is required in order for realization or abidance in the relation. So here we are talking about what has been taught in the previous chapters in order to go from avidya to vidya. He is going to emphasize here that we will do from the bhashya. Etad avidya vishayadi viraktasya. Please repeat after me. We are back to bhashya now. Etad avidya vishayadi viraktasya pratyagatma vishaya brahma vidyayam adhikaraha katam namasyaditi trutiyadhyaye upasamrutaha samasto avidya vishayah chaturthetu brahma vidya vishayam pratyagatmanam brahmeti brahvani iti brahma jnapayishyami iti cha prastutasya tad brahma ekam advayam sarva vishesha sunyam kriyakaraka pala swabhava satya sabda vatyasesha bhuta dharma pratisheda dvarena neti niti iti jnapakam asya brahma vidyaya angatvena sannyaso viditsitaha jaya putra vittadi lakshanam Pangtam karma avidya vishayam yasmat na atma prati sadhanam anya sadhanam hi anyasmai phala sadhanaya prayujyamanam pratikulam bhavati. Up to this we do Bhashya, we go beyond the Bhashya from now. You understood now. The whole thing is, says essentially, evat avidya vishayadi viraktasya. In order to differentiate this, remove this from this avidya part and look at the vidya part, says first thing you have to do is neti neti. Start with the neti neti, which has been discussed before. That means, he says pratyagatma, the one who is inner soul, essentially I am, has to be recognized in the tattvamasi. First understand what is tvam padartham. In the Tattva is, what is that Tvam? That means, who is that I? Is to be done by Neti Neti Vakyani. By rejecting what I am not, I have to establish who I am. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not this Avastatraya. That's what we discussed in terms of Anvaya Vyatireka Lakshana. Remember, when there are two things, I have to differentiate what is that. That is only one part. What is the part? I am rejecting everything I am not to define who is that I am. So I am becoming smaller and smaller in the process. Because I am not this body, I am not this mind, I become smaller, removing everything. I am not the world, of course. And I am not the body, mind, intellect, and so I become smaller by rejecting everything. Then it becomes Advaita only. Because I am plus this that I am not, which all I rejected. So in the Neti Neti Vakyani, so I am trying to find it in terms of what is that, the Tvam Padartham. Then also I have to understand for the complete knowledge, Tat Tvamasi, Tat also I am. What I rejected as that, as I am not that, but I am that also. How? That's why I said, that is nothing but an object, and object has to come and join the subject for me to be conscious of this object. Existence in the form of an object, consciousness of the subject has to be together for me to be conscious of the existence of the object. Then only the knowledge is complete. Follow now? So every this, that also I have to bring it back into me to understand that. And for that, to recognize that, I need sannyasa according to, what is that sannyasa now? I am not rejecting anything. What is the sannyasa then? I had to reject my superimposed things that I have imposed on this. You follow? I have superimposed ring is real, bangle is real, necklace is real, bracelet is real. Forget that is only name and a form for different forms of gold only. So what you are rejecting is my misconceptions about the world and the polarity of the reality of the polarity that I see, but in and through the polarity there is the pure existence I am expressing in the form of pure existence. So that is Atma Tattvam, that is Sarvan, in Sarvan, all the objects I see myself there, that has to be recognized. So that is the real sannyasa. So I had to sannyasa. What I am sannyasa is giving a reality to the polarity that I see, the differences of, I am a Brahmana is going to tell about this, in Yajnavalkya is going to discuss that. I am a Brahmana, I am a Kshatriya, I am this Varnas, all that talking about. Give up that solely for superficial names and forms. Essence is you are pure existence expressing in the form of this. So here, sannyasa is a tool, sadhana, required for recognition of the truth. And Shankara says you need external sannyasa also, because it's difficult for you sitting in a home and living in this family of world of things and getting entangled in this life. It is difficult for you to do superficially, I am not really that, I am that also. When boss is giving left and right, say, oh, nothing but boss is nothing but, oh, Atma, I am the self expressing in that form. No knowledge will be there at that time. Why? That's where the problems are. That's why says the Shankara says sannyasa, the external sannyasa is required, and that's what Yajnavalkya is doing. And look at Yajnavalkya, he is setting an example. Therefore, that is what is required. That is Shankara's. And Krishna is much more, because with so many wives, remember, he cannot just easily give up. He says, at least give up in the mind, notion of mind of that is the polarity. So it's a Gauna Sannyasa in this 6th chapter of Gita. So it's up to you. I'm not going to recommend because I have a wife also. So sannyasa, so he says, vididitsitaha jaya putradi vilakshanam bhangtam karma. So I didn't discuss about bhangtam karma. Bhangtam karma is the 5-fold activities are involved in every action. There is a bhangtam is 5 aspects are involved. The wife should be there in every karma that you are doing for grahastha. This is for the yajamani and the wife, and you need money for every, most of the karmas are involved, a lot of expenses also, and you have to give dakshina, all those things are there. All vittam is everything else. So here the vittam part, the mind, the wealth part is the significance of the karmas that you have to do. So when you have money, you have to do karmas. You have to do, at least if not those 5, the Pancha Mahayajnas, at least do some Manav Seva, at least some service you have to do when you have. So you remember our Chinmaya Mission pledge, giving more than what we take. That is the essence. We have nothing, actually we didn't come because everything is given to him. Swamiji Gurudev says, whatever we have is his gift. And what we do with what we have is our gift to him. Why am I saying? Because we are going to have a presentation now. It says, what I can give in order to say this is the what. Remember, we are able to sit here and study. A room, air-conditioned room is provided for us to do this. Otherwise, we have to go to Himalayas, like in olden days, we have to go to, this is a signal. We have to go to Himalayas and approach a teacher, and then only he will teach. He doesn't teach you, and he doesn't go everywhere, camp and here and all that, and start teaching and advertising all over the Memorial Day camp, please come, and everybody calling and please come registration. We don't have enough people registering here. All that was not there before. Says, whoever come, you approach a teacher and teacher will teach. Only when he thinks you are deserved the teaching. Otherwise he won't even teach. But now we don't have that system. Gurukula system is not there, so we have to advertise. And we are able to learn and take advantage of this because some Mahatmas came forward and put this together as a place for us so that we can sit and learn. If they didn't do it, we don't have. We used to organize in high schools and colleges and all that, and we had to rent a place and go through and then satisfy those people, clean everything. I remember the yajnas we used to do. It took even to set up the stage and all that. It was a struggle to do it, and we had to dismantle it because next day it may not be there. Some classes used to be there. Unfortunately, we don't have to do anything. All they do is lock the door and come back and open. That facilities came into picture because people came forward, put their own money, and there are people here who put the money there at that time, and this system came into picture. Now we are expanding. You say this has been previous, that chapter, this was not there before, we only bought that one before. That is paid off, and this is getting paid off, and now we are opening, and so that this knowledge can go generations to generation, because we say, I come from this Mahatma. When you go to the temple, what do? He'll ask you what Gotram you are. What Gotram? I come from this Rishi, that Rishi. Rishis are what? Veda Drashtas. They are the ones who have seen this, and they are the ones because of which we are able to read it, and we don't know what that Rishi has done if we don't. Unless this is propagated. So our duty as responsibility is not to stop it, pass on this knowledge to somebody else. That is also called Acharya Runam. Acharya Runam is not only you gain the knowledge, but you have to give it back to others. Then only you are fulfilled of your obligation to your teacher. And we are going to have a short presentation of what's happening in terms of Somanath Temple, Somanath Center, and where this going to be, so what is the progress is being done, and this is possible only by versus giving more than what I take also. So this is for those who want to offer Guru Darshana later, or those who are not coming tomorrow and only coming today, you can offer today itself, whatever, that as a contribution, not because of this, the organization that utilizes for that. So what I present here now is almost 12 o'clock, and we are going to go to the text after this. I have not started the text, right? It's all introduction. But you have the essence of what I have taught. Now when we go to the text, you will see everything comes down there. Okay? And this presentation, those who want to just go to bathrooms and come back, but we are going to present short presentation, and after that we'll have a lunch. I don't know if the lunch signal has come. Is the lunch getting ready or?